What's up, everyone? I know it's been a minute, but your boy is back. And tonight's topic is, you never truly know anyone. Now hear me out on this. I know it may sound ominous at first, but once you understand this concept, you will come to realize that, hey, you can trust somebody to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, when a foreign event occurs, something out of the ordinary, out of the blue, that pushes them to their limits, all bets are off because you simply do not know. These people, your friends, closest friends, childhood friends, your family members, your siblings. Yeah, sure, you've been with them for decades. You grew up with them. You think you know them in and out. But here's the thing. You've never seen them push to the limits when shit hits the fan. And what I mean by that? Well, think of the most crazy scenario, situation. God forbid, knock on wood, family members get murdered. How would they react? I'm sure you've seen those people in the news when their kids get murdered and they're in the courtroom and they see the killer, the murderer. These fathers, they just fly into a rage. At that moment, they lost all control. And all they want to do is see red. They want to spill the perpetrator's blood. They want to take revenge. And guess what? The neighbors know when they interview them. Look, this guy was a gentle giant. He would never hurt a soul. But guess what happened? When the right moment presents itself, when the stars are aligned, people will act out completely differently from what they usually do. And we're not just talking about fathers who get pushed to the limit. We're even talking about the murderers themselves. What I said before, the guy was a gentle giant. He would never hurt a soul. Never had a track record of committing any crime. But hey, what happened? Because he was pushed to the limits. Some cases simply have no telltale signs. You will never truly know. And that is why when we're talking about domestic violence, spousal abuse, all these things, you never truly know your significant other. Because guess what? That final time you guys get into an argument pushes someone who normally sucks it all up, keeps it all in internally. Finally, he had enough. He blows his top, starts shooting, starts stabbing. You've seen these cases all too often. Push someone to the limit and all bets are off. That is why there's always crime of passion, murder, suicides. I know it's a dark topic, but you have to understand. When shit hits the fan, like I said, you don't know that person. You don't know anyone anymore. You don't even know yourself. Recall from your past experiences, how many times have you been pushed to the limit? Let's say you were bullied. I was bullied back in school. I sucked it up. But once in a while, after the half a year of that, I had enough. I fought back. Beat the crap out of the person. It's happened a few times. They weren't expecting it. They thought those last 6 months I was always going to take a beating. I was that punching bag. But hey, something triggered me. That final beating I got. I was like, screw this. Why am I taking this? If anything, I ain't going down without a fight. If I'm gonna die at this guy's hands, that's what I was feeling at that time. It was that bad. I felt like, hey, if I'm gonna lose my life eventually, I might as well take him with me. So I fought back. And I was not expecting that. I never thought I would lash out. Same with my experiences with when I was in a relationship. My ex pushed me to the limits. Always blown up. And every so often, I would have had enough and would start yelling too. It's a vicious cycle. It's a toxic cycle. You see, you watching me. You think I'm eloquent, cool, calm, and collected. Would you ever guess I would fly off the rails and start yelling? Trust me, when I was little, I was a rage monster. Flying off the handles as a kid, as a teenager. Yeah, managed to temper that a bit, but hey, like I said, everyone harbors a demon, a beast inside. And you never know what could break those chains, what could set you or anyone loose. Now understand this though. I'm not saying don't trust anyone in life, but I am saying if you know these type of people, you know people, the longer you know them, the more you can extrapolate the information. Of course, you see patterns. Everyday life, everyday mundane life. You know, people going through the routines, going to work, everything. It's all the same crap. So you come to expect a certain type of behavior. You know how people are gonna act. Your friends, your co-workers, your boss, especially your boss. If he or she's always been a dick to you, well, guess what? More likely than not, the next day, the next week, month, the attitude ain't gonna change unless something affects their lives. You see, for me, what made me truly change was when I lost my mother a couple of years ago. That completely changed my outlook on life, knowing that everything will eventually come to an end. See, I always knew people are gonna die. It's inevitable. But to have one of your closest kin, your mom, my mom, die, pass away, that really drove home the fact that don't take anyone for granted. Reach out to those who you want to reconnect with. Make peace with people. It's not worth it, holding grudges. Life's too short for that. And let me tell you something else. A few days ago, my aunt passed away too. Yeah. People come and go. And we always take them for granted because we think we still have time. That is our number one fatal flaw, thinking we always have time. Once you know and always drive home that concept that life is short, you'll know exactly how to behave and how to act, to take action. But I digress. Going back to the topic at hand, that you never truly understand or know anybody. That's what I'm saying. Even though you may be around certain people for your entire life, your own siblings, your parents. How many stories have you heard after 20 years of marriage? one of your parents start cheating with a coworker. Hell, I'm sure you've been cheating on yourself. Somebody who you thought, hey, I'm gonna marry this person, I'm gonna have a life with them. Or hell, maybe you did have a life with them, with kids, but they still ended up cheating. But guess what? How can you ever prevent that? You may think you can. For those, it's an exercise in futility, where you have to act like a parole officer, where you have to track them on GPS, chain them up at the basement of your home. I jest, but not really, because you know that story is true. People get chained up in the basement for decades. Yeah, it's an evil world out there. But like I said, any opportunity that presents itself, it's easy for somebody to say, hey, I'm as loyal as it gets. I'll never cheat. And this is that guy that doesn't have a job, who's just at the basement playing video games 24/7. Yeah, how can he ever cheat? He's out of shape, fat, poor hygiene. There's no opportunity for this guy to cheat. But hey, for those who've been keeping up with me, you know who I'm talking about. That was my former best friend of 20 years. He managed to cheat with my ex. Now they're still together. And I think they're going to be together for the rest of their lives because, like I said, it was an opportunity that presented itself. We hung out together. And my ex was for the streets. They worked together to get together. But guess what? It's all for the better. Now they're stuck together because at the end of the day, who's gonna want them? What other opportunity is gonna present itself for them to cheat with somebody else? Hey, I don't know. I'm just speculating. But I don't want to spill doom and gloom to you. I'm not preaching that, like I said. But you gotta keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes open, wide. Oh, believe me, trust your gut on these kinds of things. And of course, if you see patterns, if you see trends, things out of the blue, it doesn't matter how long you know this person for. If something smells funny, oh yeah, best believe it. Something is wrong. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And you gotta get down to it. It doesn't matter if you've known this person for 20, 30 years. Anyone can change at any time. Any opportunity could present itself perfectly for them to go, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna break the law. I'm gonna backstab my best friend. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna murder. The rabbit hole goes deep. And that's why you gotta be aware enough to not put yourself in that situation, if possible. For example, if someone has put their hands on you in the past, especially, choking. I'm not gonna say the exact statistics, but the likelihood of somebody who has choked you, killing you in the future, it's exponential. It's almost a given. And if you're smart about that, you know to cut all contact and ties with such a person. educate yourself on this type of stuff. And always stay vigilant. Constantly evaluate the people that are around you. Your closest friends, family members. Because people change. We're not even talking about opportunistic scenarios and situations. We're talking about lifestyle changes, people aging, hormones, neurons, everything slowly evolving, or rather regressing for the worse, brain diseases, dementia. That could certainly affect how people behave. So I hope you guys learned something tonight. I'm gonna hit you guys back up on the next video. Catch you later. Peace.